Evening, everyone. Today I thought I'd show you, since it's a nice day outside, it's probably gonna rain, and while I have the motivation to make and post a rather short video, I'm going to show you some of the things that I have never bothered to upload to YouTube. And we'll start with what's in that shed there. So I got this new Honda HR195 at a garage sale for 40 bucks, missing the recoil. Actually, the recoil was there, it was just missing half of the parts to put it back together. So took it off, and I have a pull cord that I put in that notch and wrap it around. It starts 3-speed self-propelled blade brake clutch. What I think is an aluminum deck, although I'm not sure, and it's got an overhead valve. I think, God, I'm tempted to say GX. Oh, here we go. It's a GXV 140, and it's a nice engine. It runs real quiet. It puffs a bit of smoke on startup, and it continues smoking just a bit for 30 seconds or so after you start it up, but overall, a great mower, and I've been using it every day. Of course, we have the big Troy-Bilt horse, massive thing. Its home is in the shed. Ever since these decals have started badly peeling, I took it upon myself to make a home for it in there. And while I'm on and about this thing, I wanted to give a shout out to a certain person who watches my videos from time to time. YouTube user and My Tractor Farm member, Mr. Wiggles 2, who himself owns a Troy-Bilt pony, and as far as I know, a couple of cool wheel horse tractors, although I haven't seen them in a while. But yeah, there you go, man. I enjoy your videos, I watch them. I was really fascinated in particular by the when you were draining the oil from that boat motor of yours. That was real nice to see. But yeah, anyway, that's a tiller. So here it is, my glorious Space Maker shed. Old brown thing sitting out here in the middle of the lawn. It's basically a storage place for things that see very little specialized seasonal use, and other things that I have laying around that I don't have a use for, that I'd like to keep out of the weather. So now that we're standing inside the shed, we'll go ahead and take a look around. Now on our left we have the 10-inch Sears moldboard plow and the Sears front tote box. I know this isn't the most glorious way to store them, but I toiled around with it for a bit, and seemed to be the most efficient, believe it or not. And I should also mention that this tote box has the even more sought after rear 3-point conversion kit for it. So these both could be considered 3-point implements. Moving along here, we have this 1997 Yardman lawn deck with a 4.5 horsepower Briggs Quantum, one of the smaller Quantum engines on it. Story goes, I got this free from my bus driver. She didn't use it, and oh boy, did she ever not use it, because this thing is mint. It has about 10 hours on it. That's what the oil looks like. It's never been changed. Well, except for the break-in period, of course. But that's the original oil. Comes with this huge, inglorious felt bag. And I honestly have never used it as well. I fired it up briefly enough to confirm that it needs a new bowl gasket. Something which I still haven't gotten around to, believe it or not. However, I do intend to keep this thing, because if I ever go into professional service, you know, if you could call it professional, mowing the neighborhood's lawns, they want their leaves vacuumed up, I can certainly help with that. With this thing, it's a handy little tool. It's very light to push, very, very well built. Unbelievable, almost. And behind it, of course, you have an assortment of lawnmower bags for Hondas, Ariens, Craftsman. That's a brand new bag. and there's some camping foam that I have. I use this camping foam as vibration isolating mounts, and I put that on my LT11. Then we got this spike aerator here, and behind there, that's a Craftsman spike aerator, never been used. And here is a Monarch model VE33 water pump, working motor, rusted in fitting, rusted in stripped freaking primer plug, and a cracked pump housing, although it isn't cracked all the way through. This thing for parts, it's toast. Now we move up to the shelf here. Now at the very end of it we have the potato hiller for my Troy-Bilt horse. That thing's pretty much in mint condition, only been used once or twice. And here we have my collection of electric motors. We have a fan motor from a 1986 Chevy Nova. We have a unnamed, I think this is a motor from a washing machine. Yeah, the back covers off of it, don't know where it is. Here is a brand new, never been used electric motor that I got from my uncle. It cost him 98 bucks, and he just kind of gave it to me because he didn't have a use for it, but it's never been used. I just kind of wired it up and then proceeded to lose that back cover there. It's unfortunate, but if I ever am determined to find a use for these motors, I will find back covers that fit, because I have plenty of other motors that are no good. Now this is a 1986 11 horsepower IC engine, Briggs & Stratton, that I got for free. Never tested it to see if it runs, because of course the not just this cord, but the entire half of the recoil assembly is missing, and so I just never bothered with it. But if it's free, it's for me. And I use this same 11 horsepower engine in my Snapper and my LT11. I was thinking of putting this actually on my Snapper number 2, which is engineless right now, but the engine is all it needs to get going. So given that the old engine needs a rebuild, I think I might just slap the more powerful, easier to find parts for 11 horsepower engine on that Snapper and make do. Moving along, this is a 15.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton IC Gold overhead valve engine from an MTD junker. Still haven't cleaned the grease off of it. This poor thing took a tumble off of my shelf when I was cleaning things up and landed in the grass, but as far as I know, nothing's bent or broken, so that makes it alright. And the moment I get a racing lawnmower, this is going in it, and boom, got 15.5 horses of overhead valve power. I'm not going to run it non-governed, but close to it anyway. So we got the pull cord to start that Honda out there. We have the Stihl FS38 weed whacker that I use weekly in my lawn mowing tasks, because I prefer weed eaters for close up around trees than I do lawn mowers, the push mowers. So that's a real nice thing, and it's a Stihl too. I love it. This is my working electric water pump. It's a Franklin Electric of Canada Limited, and it was manufactured in Strathroy, Ontario. It has a 3rd horsepower motor, running at 8.6 amps and 60 hertz. Then we have this little fan here. It's a ventilation fan that's meant to be mounted in one of those circular square enclosures with a set of louvers and stuff like that. Haven't found the time or the use for that, but it's a neat little thing in the meantime. So down here we have lawnmower parts that I probably won't use much anymore, because I'm not going to fix up lawnmowers, push mowers anymore. I found a more solid type of money in the form of a part-time job, but that's that. Then we got this little 2 horsepower Sears cultivator. Pretty sure the tines only extend about 12 inches. Just a little thing bit loud. It has a recoil clutch that's seizing to the flywheel. A bit unpleasant to use, but it works, and I only use it once a year, if that. And it was free, so I'll be damned. Now, this is something special. This is the push mower that belonged to my great-grandfather, the same one you saw in that video of him demonstrating his antique record player. And I used to use this every day until I got the Honda. Well, not every day, every week for mowing the lawn. Every time I mow the lawn, put it together from various parts. Runs great, but for now it's in storage. Anyhow, that's the shed. Now I'm going to show you guys out back of the shed. And this is kind of my refuse pile where I dump all of the machines that the bigger machines that I want to keep around for parts and stuff like that. So after countless hours of stripping and scrapping and lawnmower fixing, this is what's left. Just got a couple of push mowers, a couple of engines, a couple of wheels, and Ryobi Weed Eater that is the biggest piece of shit that I have ever dealt with. Got some bicycle tires here that my dad has kept over the years for whatever reason, spares I guess. Got another piece of shit, abhorrently bad Ryobi Weed Eater thing. Have the Franken Barrow. We have the GT Snow Racer that I kept around just because, well, those things are pretty damn interesting. So these are my two Sears 3-point mounted self-powered tillers. Both are 38 inches and both have 8 horsepower engines. Now this is the first one. Runs excellent. Not a problem at all with it. I think it's got some gas. Yeah, it's got gas. And the peculiar thing about these tillers is they both have a glass sediment bowl. Go figure. I thought those things died with the Ford Model A's. But anyways, yeah, this is a Roper tiller, and it runs great. The engine is, I'm guessing, I can't find an exact year because, well, there's no model type or code here, but I do think, I have reason to believe that it is pre-Magnetron. And this one is just a complete piece of shit in every way. It's the original white Sears tiller that you could buy around, let's see when this one was made. Oh, never mind. You can't. God. But, yeah, this one was made 81, 82, I guess, because of the Magnetron. At the earliest it was made in that time, and it's junk. There's head bolts that have been undone and left to sit and rot. There's probably water in the cylinder. 8 horsepower again. There's gas in the sediment bowl that's so utterly disgusting. Let's see if I can get a look at what's inside the tank. But yeah, there goes the gas cap. The gas cap came apart. Screw that. But yeah, just because I open that, you can smell the rank odors that this thing is putting out. So now we have the snow blowers sitting back here, patiently all awaiting work before they can work again in the winter, blowing snow. This is my $35 Canadiana snowblower. Again, the engine is an 8 horsepower horizontal pre-Magnetron Briggs & Stratton from '77. It needs a carb rebuild, but I do have new fuel line and a new fuel filter on it. So I have the carb kit too, and this thing will be getting a carb rebuild sooner rather than later. It's had the gas drained / siphoned out of it, so it's good to go whenever I want to do the carb rebuild, which will probably be before October. I usually like to have my snow machines ready by the beginning of October. That's good. This is the red money pit, I guess you could call it. Got a seized throttle cable. About $400 in this machine. God, like, it's been the biggest piece of crap, I swear to God. 2 flat tires, an engine. We had to, eventually we gave up on the recoil and spent some 30-odd bucks to fix it. But yeah, this thing was in the weeds for so many years. The engine itself, carburetor has a rebuild, still doesn't run right. New points, new coil, new spark plug. As I said, a recoil job. We've done countless things to this snowblower to make it, you know, work, but none of said methods have prevailed. But moving on, got the third snowblower, a little 5 horsepower, 24-inch piece of shit, really, from 1977. Although it does have solid rubber tires, the whole snowblower is in pretty good shape. Everything works. Just dealing with a no spark issue, which can be solved easily, likely, by pulling the flywheel and filing the points. But if I could get this thing running, then ding 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 bonus. It's got the 5 horsepower snow configuration for the Briggs & Stratton engine, which is something that you don't see very often because it's got a snow guard on the carburetor and gas tank. It's a nice little engine. I hope I can get it going. And like I said, the whole snowblower is in excellent shape. Got it for free. Here's a free tiller. Kind of a piece of shit. Doesn't pump fuel up from the tank. So I gotta try and troubleshoot that. And in addition, it was left outside for quite some time with no spark plug for whatever reason. Although it still runs. You know, I just decided I had nothing to lose and just plopped a spark plug in there to fire it up. It runs, and I'll probably use it for something or sell it if I get it running good enough. But for now, it sits. We come to my push mowers. Got the Ariens commercial mower that I was excited about. No. It's got some... due to the way I jerry-rigged the throttle, as you can see with this piece of wire, because the new carburetor I put on it wouldn't... the old throttle assembly wouldn't fit the new carburetor. So, because of that, the governor doesn't work properly, and this thing bogs down as soon as it goes under load and almost dies. Also, self-propelled, that friction disc system that I was talking about, works great when you're on level ground and you have absolutely no resistance against it whatsoever, but it has no power. So, I just kind of stopped using this thing because it's kind of a real piece of shit. Better check if I have gas in it. Yeah, I do. Probably siphon that out. Moving on, we have Honda Craftsman that I picked up from the side of the road, in good shape, except some very not mechanically inclined person decided to, you know, the lawnmower doesn't start, so he's like, oh, there, I'll take the carburetor off and I'll take everything apart, and oh man, I can't put it back together. And then he was also like, oh, starter broke off, so I just went and bought myself a wooden dowel and works great. No, it doesn't. So we got this hopeless John Deere 6.5 horsepower 5-speed self-propelled mower from around 2000 or 2001. Eventually gonna find what's wrong with it, fix it up and sell it. Carburetor needs a couple of new gaskets here and there, new air filter, and I think a new spark plug, which I haven't had the chance or motivation to get. This thing might run. And here are my tractors that have been sitting back here. This one's a Deere Bourbon, Sears SS18 with the hood from a 1909, and a Tecumseh Snow King engine shoved the wrong way under the bonnet just for the sake of storage. Here's a little Husqvarna articulated mower. Engine smokes, doesn't run right, multiple linkage issues, can't find a battery that fits. So I stopped using it. And here's my engineless yellow 1909. It did have the Onan N52M engine on it one time, but I sold it